after war, World War II, and my children in that time is that very hard. So, for example, air raid, so B-29s came,
Wow. Okay.
and my house is in Tokyo. Therefore, of course, my house is burned out, and no food, and very hard. And get old. Anyway, 10-year-old war is finished. Then that time is very difficult. Freshman I started karate, and 3 years, and after university is 4 years. So after university, I will coaching my karate club, University Hosei in Tokyo, Japan Karate Association, and they send me here, United States, teaching karate. This is a nationwide big organization. The culture is different, and Japan is more training karate is more spiritual. It's not game or not pleasure. But here is a very important pleasure. It's more enjoyment. But sometimes in Japan, especially when I was younger, more spiritual uplifting, more training hard, and it's not interesting. I want strong, but little by little, it's more spiritual, important. Of course, karate philosophy is JK is Japan Karate Association is Master Funakoshi, the founder. He's that kind of Japanese culture is Bushido, it's samurai spirit. It's interesting, of course. When people like that kind of Japanese Bushido spirit. Karate is originally self-defense, but today self-defense is not somebody attack with outside people, or more important, good health is take care is a nice body, and against stresses, and Anyway, I always said good sleeping, and good appetite, and good bowel open or something. That is the most important. Then I give you always said never negative, positive thinking, and challenge, not outside, interior. By self is your enemy. Therefore, always say don't cry, and positive thinking. People enjoy that kind, not only sports.
I want to learn the art, but I wanted to also be a part of something bigger than just my company or my family. This is a very important art to learn. There's a lot of value that we bring to the community internationally and locally, and we do a lot of good, and we do a lot of good for the community, like cystic fibrosis, so on. So there's a lot of value. It's helped me with my business, my family, life, and a lot of things. It's a very complicated issue, but it's very nice to be involved. He's brought to us is a rigid attitude of not giving up. Work, 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 and when you have failure, just continue working through it without being discouraged.
Well, I trained in judo and jiu-jitsu and aikido before I did karate, but once I started doing karate, I forgot all about those other arts.
Why is that?
Well, it fit me better. Certain people are fits for different arts, I guess, and once I started doing karate, I realized I didn't want to do those other things anymore. So I trained for 3 years in Kansas City under a student of Sensei Koyama's, and then he said, if you wanted to get your black belt, you got to move to Phoenix and train with Sensei Koyama. Excuse me, I'm still a little out of breath, but so I threw everything I owned in the back of my pickup truck when I was 19 years old, and I drove out here, and I've been here for the last 27 years training with Koyama Sensei. So,
well, I think I'd have to say just character, positive character and confidence in myself, and whatever I've done now is attributed to karate, really. And I've been training since 1971, so it's been a while also, a long time. Yes, and it carries on through our family also, all our children that have participated in karate. And so it's like a family, actually. It's a family of karatecans. So.
Yeah, all of our 3 children have trained, and the one has stuck with it the longest. He's a second-degree black belt, so active in tournaments and competition.
Oh gosh, I mean, when I first started this, it was for self-protection. I was a boy in school and needed to protect myself, but as I developed in the art, I found out there's a lot more to it than just the fighting. So there's character development, and of course, being my age, I enjoy getting in there and going a few rounds with the young guys who think they're all that. So there's no doubt in my mind that karate has been a big character developing tool for me. I would never give it up, not for the world.
When Sensei Koyama arrived in Arizona, Gary and I had already given our word as co-sponsors for him. We provided housing, transportation, an adjusting cushion between the 2 different cultures. We were very, very glad to have him. And when I look back at it now, the man made a monumental change from one way of life to the American way of life. Through the cultural exchange with Sensei, we met many of his friends who visited him. They became part of our family and we became part of theirs, which has heightened the teachings of Sensei Koyama. All of the students at the dojo have benefited from him. He has brought us his culture, and we learn more and more from him all the time. In the past 5 decades, Sensei Koyama's been passing the word and teaching us, whether subtle ways or whether in lessons. And we have to be very grateful. He has touched the lives of over thousands of students. He has influenced every one of us, and we are all for the betterment.
Basically what we're doing is a tournament for charity. And many things happen. This is a cultural event because cultural exchange is probably the most important thing that Sensei Koyama brings to this country. And he has every year since 1964. We are really good about making sure that this is an open tournament so any style can compete. And by that, I mean any style. We've had people from Taekwondo win the tournament years ago and so forth. Now it's mostly Japanese styles that are competing. The biggest thing that we have to do is get everything going by the time the senseis get to the tournament. And by that time we're ready to go. We've got staging. We start out with the lower belt adults first, and then we do the kids, and we do kata, which is the forms, and then we do kumite, which is the sparring. And we do that all the way up through black belts in the preliminaries, and then we go into the finals in the afternoon. Well, to the students, it's a test. It's like anything else. We're told that when we go out there to spar or to do kata, we're not doing anything different than we're doing in the dojo, which is just basic training. And if your training is good and you've really been true to your principles about what you're doing on the dojo floor, then they should transfer to real life and to the dojo kun, which is all our precepts. That's what we talk about.
I'm a 72 and prison, next generation, I gave to my button touch,
Right.
And already, they are very growing. Therefore, I brought from Japan and 1 seed.
Wow.
And now is flower is coming, I'm prison retired, but they take over. It's a very great project,
We want to remember Sensei Koyama. We want to remember that he is a folk hero, and we want to remember that in 1964 when he came, we had a time of turmoil in this country relevant to Vietnam, relevant to civil rights. The Beatles were coming into play. Our lives were changing. It was a dramatic time, and 5 decades later, we have Sensei Koyama still here teaching. We are very honored to have you do this for us. This is an important documentary. Thank you very much.